Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I'm Papa Pepper. In this video, we're going to do a quick garden tour. And it is an early November garden tour. It's actually November 6th, the day I'm recording this. And this is one of the things I love about being down here in the Ozarks, zone 6B, 7A, as opposed to back in my native Wisconsin where we had a lot less opportunity for gardening and things like that. I plan to have a full video coming out on my figs. This is actually a giant row of figs. Just a few are sticking out for cuttings. And this one I'm waiting to see if it fruits or if the fruits ripen. It definitely has fruited. There's a beautiful one there. Another beautiful one down there. See that? And these guys are still ripening, but I'm going to get fresh fruit that's going to be very ripe in the next couple days as these guys continue to droop and ripen in November, which is crazy. I'm also super excited for next year because I have structures like this, which is my pipe and chain link fence snake gourd trellis. All those are going to seed. They're just drying so I can have viable seeds, way more than I'm going to need. But it's good to have such a supply on hand. And I'm happy to invest in structures that are going to be here for years to come, rather than some of the stuff I made before with cedar and bamboo, where after a couple of years, it was pretty much done. And just wow on this pomegranate. This is a younger tree, so we're not going to be eating from it. We wait till the 5th year to eat from our trees, and let this one go to fruit anyway, which means it's going to seed. All these guys are just erupting now. Now we have had an insane amount of rain lately. I think in 2 days we got 11 inches or something. So I don't know if that's part of it, but these guys are blowing up. This is a Russian 26 pomegranate, and supposedly it should make it through the winter here. These were put in earlier this year from ones that were in large pots. Definitely makes a nice sized pomegranate with full size seeds. They ripen to red. Let's see how these do through the winter, and hopefully they should be here for years to come and just continue to get bigger and bigger and produce more and more. And eventually we'll be tasting that as well, but interesting. Up here is another incredible trellis that we're going to have for years to come. Again, pipe and chain link. Cool thing about this is stuff I got from jobs where we had to take down some old ones and put up some new ones, and then some of it also was from a chicken house. But very cool to be able to use that, have that for years to come. Excited to start off like that in the future. I did plant some dill late in the year too, so I've got fresh dill just chilling here. If I would have planted more cilantro, I would have had that too. But it's exciting just to have fresh herbs like that available, even in early November. And I did cut back all my okra and actually let my sheep and cow eat all the pods, but when I cut it back, I had a bunch of buds, so I just kind of left them for fun. They're all growing right now. I was just talking with a friend of mine, and he's still just harvesting green okra. Oh wow, lizard. Oh, eastern fence lizard. A cute little juvenile fence lizard was just peeking out. Oh, we ran across those rocks there. That's incredible too, to see lizards. We had 4 native species back in Wisconsin, but I don't think we'd be finding them in November. And this one here is absolutely fantastic. Our own citrus. I planted these in 2017. They've been unprotected in my garden ever since. Last year they started producing for us. We got like 100 fruit off of each, and now they're making more. Generally, I'll wait till they hit the ground to pick them, like this one, and we use them to make all sorts of stuff. A lemonade substitute, a lemon curd, a key lime pie substitute. It's just fantastic to have our own citrus. Growing in our own yard, no greenhouse, no geothermal, no protection. They're just out here. So this is the trifoliate citrus, and we've actually got a really good variety of it. There's some variation within them, and this is a fantastic variety. It makes me excited to think about next year too. If you look at some of these, this is where the thornless blackberries, wherever they touch the ground, they just start rooting to make new plants. So it's incredible just to watch them grow. Eventually we hope for a whole wall of them kind of surrounding this part of the garden. And when they reproduce on their own like that, it makes it really easy to fill in an area. Whoa, check this wall too, y'all. This is just a bunch of cherry tomatoes. And the cool thing is, even when they got some frost up top and things died back, there was enough foliage above these that I've got actually a major harvest I should have some children come out and pick these because there's a good amount here, but we can have fresh tomatoes right out of the garden, even in early November. That's fantastic. Right now, check that out too. Do you see that little purple flower? This is a Korean goji berry. The whole thing is still green. The way I understand it, the leaves are edible and people will eat those. They can also make teas with them. And then these little berries are still forming now. There are some that are already red and more to come, and often sold dried at like health food stores and stuff. We've been growing our own here for many years. I just give them a bit of a trellis to run up. And then we have this lush green wall, purple flowers, green berries. Bees are still out, so they're still pollinating these. And that's absolutely fantastic. And places like this have still got catnip readily available and green. And catnip, if you didn't know, can be used to make a nice relaxing tea for like in the evening. Nice non-caffeinated relaxing tea. If you've had a rough day and you just feel like maybe laying on the floor playing with a ball of yarn for a little bit, try a cup of catnip tea before you go to bed. Same thing here with the lemon balm. That's still just green, readily available. As are these Egyptian walking onions back here. We love using them as a green, like you would a green onion or a chive. They are so fantastic. They are out here just doing their thing. Oh look, more pomegranates in the background. Now here's a pretty cool one. This one here is a pepper, as is this one. Now these peppers have already been through a frost, but the interesting thing about this plant, I did not plant this year. It's growing up in one of my paths. I just recognized it when it sprouted and let it grow. So this is a volunteer pepper plant. In my native Wisconsin, we wouldn't really even direct sow peppers when you could, much less just have them come back on their own. I would start them often by mid-February inside the house, and then I wouldn't plant them in the yard, in the actual garden, until June 1st, because we would still be getting frost. So to see these come back from seeds on their own, that's fantastic. And this isn't even the most impressive one. Just look at this thing. I kind of left it and didn't pick any of it this year as an example. But this pepper plant here grew from seed actually in the rocks of one of my raised beds. So the raised bed is there. The path is here. A pepper seed must have fell down there last year, and this whole thing just grew up in one season on its own. I didn't start it inside the house. I didn't do anything to it. It's just down here in the Ozarks we have such a growing season that this thing is able to germinate, sprout, grow, flower, and fruit fantastically in one season without us doing anything. I didn't intentionally water or weed or fertilize or do anything to this. It just did this all on its own, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And if you don't know, all the pad cacti are edible. Barrel cacti vary, but pad cacti are edible. And one thing they do besides having edible pads is they will flower and fruit. So we've got some nopale tuna over here, the fruits, the cacti. These ones down here are still green, and these ones are almost ripe, but soon we're going to have ripe cacti fruit. If you've never tasted cacti fruit, you would be amazed at how much flavor is in something from a cacti. I mean, it's amazing. And I would definitely recommend using like barbecue tongs to harvest them. Not so good for venomous snakes, but good for harvesting cacti. Back around here we have another incredible green section going on. This is the Chinese goji berries. And if you look at them, if you can see in there, there is a ton of fruit. I've got to get some help harvesting these in the near future. Just look at how many and how beautiful. And these we can use fresh and eat fresh, or we can dry. And they've done really well. These have been here as long as the Korean ones. They kind of vary. These ones have a much heavier yield this year. Generally, I find the Koreans to do better. But for some reason, these Chinese ones have done way more fantastic. So I've got fresh fruit still just available to pick in my garden that I definitely enjoy eating fresh. And I'm going to be looking into doing some other things with them too. I haven't even used the leaves yet. I want to look into that more. Just start incorporating more of the potential of some of these plants I have established. Because this is a perennial here. It just comes back every year on its own. So I want to get more into using what I have here in more ways than I currently am. I think now is a good time to just wrap this video up, but not before I show you this thyme. Yeah, this lemon thyme here I'm using as a ground cover under some other plants. It's still just green, readily available. We could cut it now and dry it or dehydrate it by keeping it in the cupboard as a dried herb and have it available through the winter, and we can also just use it fresh here. So anyway, for us, if you ever consider moving to the Ozarks, I got a video on things to consider before you do. It was a good choice and a good decision for us. Oh yeah, I've got like sunchokes I can dig up and eat right now too. There's still some sweet potatoes and potatoes in the ground too. But above the ground, that's a good look at some of the things we got going on. It was a good move for us. We don't regret it, and it's worked out fantastic. And I really just appreciate having this much more potential. Pretty much everything I could grow up in Wisconsin I can still grow here, but I can also grow a lot of other things, and I have a much longer growing season. So to do this type of garden tour in November is fantastic to me. I'll see you guys next time. Papa out.
Thank you for watching. And the left button. Thumbs up.
The cow head is good?
Yeah.
That's because you know.